Hello everyone, and welcome back to Unbound Learners Pre-K. My name is Nina. What's your name? It's so nice to meet you. I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend. Let's get started with our good morning song together. Stretch your arms out like airplane wings, and let's fly to one side, over to the other side, fly back to the middle, and now take your airplane wings into a big circle out in front of you like this. Stretch the circle up over your head, and let's go to one side, over to the other side. One more stretch up at the top, and let's bring the circle back down and sing together. Good morning, dear Earth. Good morning, dear Sun. Good morning, dear rocks and flowers, everyone. Good morning, dear beast and birds in the trees. Good morning to you and good morning to me. Good morning, friends, and welcome to Circle Time. Before we get started with the calendar and weather chart, there are 3 things that we need to do quickly. First, let's turn on our listening ears. Next, we need to put on our thinking hats. Mine is right here. I'm going to put it on top of my head, and today my thinking hat has some snaps under my chin, so I'm going to snap it up like this. And the third and final thing that we need to do is warm up our hearts, like this. Boom, 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 boom. And now we're ready for the day. Behind me, I have my calendar and weather chart. First, let's go over the date, and we're going to begin with the month, which is right up here. Do you know what the month is? June. Today is June 21st. So the last time that we met, it was Thursday, June 17th. So let's move the chip from the number 17 over to the number 18, 19, 20, and we will put it on the number 21 because today is June 21st, 2021 or 2021. Friends, because the month of June is almost over, let's use our counting fingers and let's count the remaining days or the days that are left in the month of June. So get those counting fingers out and let's warm them up to give them a little stretch. After today, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. After today, we have 9 days left in the month of June. And now, let's hold up 7 fingers to sing the Days of the Week song. Because we have 7 days in our week, we hold up 7 fingers for this song. You can sing with me if you know the words. There are 7 days, there are 7 days, there are 7 days in a week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. At the bottom of the chart, I have the days of the week. I'm going to give you the sound that the day starts with, and if you know what the day is, you can say it with me. Yesterday was Sunday, the last day of the weekend. So that means that today is Monday, the first day of the weekday. And tomorrow will be Tuesday. But let's sing Today is Monday together. It goes like this. Today is Monday, today is Monday, today is Monday all day long. Today is Monday, today is Monday, today is Monday all day long. Up at the top, I have a brand new season. Yesterday was the summer solstice, so that means that today is the first full day of summer. The season is now summertime. What is your favorite thing to do in the summertime? My favorite thing to do in the summertime is to go swimming when it's nice and warm out. Let's go back down to the bottom of the chart where we have the weather picture. Let's sing the weather song together and then we can share the weather. What's the weather? What's the weather? Can you tell? Can you tell? Is the sun shining? Is the rain falling? Can you tell? Can you tell? I have a picture of the sun shining through the clouds today because when I look outside of my window, it's mostly sunny, but I see a few puffy white cumulus clouds in the sky. And my temperature chart is on orange because it's a warm day. Warm and mostly sunny. What do you see when you look outside of your window? Thanks for sharing with me. Now let's go on to the letter, the number, and the sign of the week. Because today is Monday, we have a brand new uppercase or capital letter to talk about. This letter makes two sounds. The first sound is a short sound that sounds like this. Ah, ah. Can you make the short sound with me? Ah, ah. And the long sound sounds like this. A. Can you make the long sound with me? A. This is a capital or uppercase A. A says ah or A. And now let's move on to the letter box. Inside of this box, I have something that starts with the letter A. Here's your first clue. This is a type of an arthropod. So this arthropod has 3 body parts and 6 legs. This arthropod is very small, but it's very strong. They like to build mounds or hills with tunnels underneath. Do you know what arthropod it is? Let's take a look. This is an ant. So the ant has 1, 2, 3 body parts and 6 legs. And even though ants are small, they are still very strong. Ant starts with the letter A. This is how you write a capital or uppercase A. One more time. We also have a new number of the week. This is the number 4. Will you hold up 4 fingers with me? 1, 2, 3, 4. The number 4. And now let's count to the number 4 using the large bead frame. This week, we are going to be counting to the number 4 using the large bead frame. So we are going to be counting the green beads, which are units at the top. Let's count to the number 4 together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units. We still have one more thing to count inside of the number box today. I have some blades of grass. As I count them, I'm going to line them up across the top of the box so we can count together. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 blades of grass. So we've gone over the new letter of the week and the new number of the week. Now it's time to learn the new sign of the week. This week, I'm going to show you how to say ocean in sign language. Remember, friends, sign language is a language that uses hand gestures and facial expressions to communicate instead of speaking words out loud. So in order to say ocean in sign language, you're going to need both of your hands like this, and you're going to make waves. Ocean. Would you like to try? That's right, ocean. This week we're going to continue our ocean exploration, but let's travel a little further down and see what we discover under the water. Remember that the ocean is an extremely large body of salt water. And because the ocean covers almost 75% of the Earth's surface, the ocean is home to so many creatures. The ocean is made up of 3 zones: the sunlight zone, the twilight zone, and the deep ocean, which is then divided into 3 additional layers called the midnight zone, the abyss, and the trenches. So as you travel deeper into the ocean, the water gets colder and the pressure increases. Let's take a look at a picture that I have and talk about the different kinds of sea creatures that live in each zone. So I have this picture right here that represents the 3 main zones of the ocean. At the top is the sunlight zone. Next, we have the twilight zone, and then the deep ocean is right here. But remember, the deep ocean is divided into 3 more layers called the midnight zone, the abyss, and the trenches. So let's start at the top and let's talk about all the different animals that we find in the zones of the ocean. At the top, the sunlight zone has the most sunlight, and therefore the water is pretty warm. In the sunlight zone, you find sea creatures like certain whales and tuna. You also see dolphins and sea turtles. Next, you have the twilight zone. So in this zone, the water is pretty cold and dim, and not a lot of plants grow there. So because the water is dark, many of the sea creatures that live there produce their own light from their bodies. These creatures include lanternfish, squid, and jellyfish. The third and final zone of the ocean is called the deep ocean. Now, the deep ocean is divided into the midnight zone, the abyss, and the trenches. In the deep ocean, the water is close to freezing, and it's so dark there. So many of the sea creatures that live in the deep ocean are blind or have very light-sensitive eyes. The creatures that live in the deep ocean include squid, anglerfish, and snailfish. So now that we have a better understanding of the different zones of the ocean, let's move on to today's work. For today's work, we are going to make the different zones of the ocean. So there are 3 main zones of the ocean, but remember, the third zone, the deep ocean, is then divided into 3 more layers. So for today's work, you are going to need 5 glasses or jars, some water, a spoon, and some blue food coloring. So remember, friends, the zones of the ocean are very different. So right now, these glass jars all look the same. They are all filled about a quarter of the way with water, but the ocean zones do not look the same. So let's change that. This first jar is going to represent the sunlight zone. Next, we have the twilight zone. And right here is the deep ocean, which is divided into the midnight zone, the abyss, and the trenches. So I'm going to keep the first jar, the sunlight zone, how it is, because it receives the most light. So I'm not going to add any food coloring to this jar. Next, we have the twilight zone. Now, the twilight zone is pretty dim, so I'm going to add 1 drop of food coloring into the water and give it a little mix. That is a nice color. So remember, as you get deeper into the water, the water gets more cold and more dark. So as I'm traveling down the ocean, the water is starting to get more dark. Next, we have the deep ocean right here. The deep ocean is made up of the midnight zone, the abyss, and the twilight zone. So the midnight zone is going to be much darker. I'm going to add a few drops of food coloring to this one and give it a little mix. So I added about 5 drops of food coloring to the midnight zone, and as you can see, it worked. The midnight zone is definitely darker than the twilight zone. But the abyss is even darker than all of these. So I'm going to have to add a lot of food coloring to that. Good thing I have another bottle right here. Oh, now this one's empty. Let's give it a little mix and see if it's darker than the midnight zone. So the midnight zone and the twilight zone look kind of similar. That means that I should probably add a few more drops of food coloring to the abyss right here. There we go. That is better. So now the abyss is darker than the midnight zone. And last we have the trenches. The trenches is all the way at the bottom and definitely the darkest zone to live in. So I'm going to pour the most food coloring into the trenches to get it completely dark. There we go. Oh, it's so dark it almost looks black. And there we have it. We have the different zones of the ocean. At the top, we have the sunlight zone, which receives the most light. Next, we have the twilight zone, followed by the deep ocean, which is divided into the midnight zone, the abyss, and the dark trenches. Friends, a great extension to this work would be to add some plastic ocean figurines, if you have any, and then match them accordingly based on which zone they would live in. Let's get back to circle time. Welcome back to circle time. If you were a sea creature, which ocean zone would you prefer to live in? I would definitely want to live in the sunlight zone. Thanks for learning with me today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Give this video a big thumbs up and don't forget to find me on OutSchool for my live and interactive classes. You can also support my channel by checking out my Patreon page and gain access to bonus features for your child. Before we go, we have one last song to sing. Let's wave goodbye like this. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. I'll see you next time.